So hi everyone, today we have a special guest on our channel. We have Akshat with us. So Akshat, would you like to introduce yourself once?
Hello everyone, myself Akshat. I am currently working as a software engineer at Intuit. In the past, I have worked with Salesforce and I have also done an internship at Cisco.
Alright, so as you guys can see, he has cracked pretty much many product-based companies, right? All three he has cracked off campus as well. And in this video, we'll be getting to know about his journey to cracking Salesforce, which also he cracked off campus. So Akshat, can you tell us about your Salesforce journey? Like what was your interview experience like? How many rounds were there? What all happened?
So, Salesforce, I applied off campus on their career portal and I received an online assessment within 2 weeks. The online assessment consisted of three questions. One was a DP based medium question. It was DP on a grid, and one was like basic DP question word break. Many might have already heard about it. And one was a direct binary search question. So I like finding a smallest range for something. So I had to do binary search two times for the lowest and maximum value. So this was it. This was a 90-minute OA. After the OA, I got my first round of interview, which was virtual. Um, and in that interview, it was taken by a director of engineering at Salesforce. There, he talked about my previous work experience at Cisco. I told him about my internship, my work there, and we started off talking about my projects. It was like kind of a mixed technical and managerial kind of interview because he asked about what projects I did, where like what of my ideas were accepted by my manager, and like what problems I faced during my project. So it was kind of an HR or managerial interview. Um, then after that, he gave me two DSA problems. One was based on difference array. So it's like the problem was like minimum number of platforms required for if like we are given the arrival and departure time of a list. So I think it's already present on Geeks for Geeks and other platforms. Yeah, it's like easy problem itself. Another one was a problem, like straight away direct problem of sliding window, like finding distinct number of alphabets in a subsequence, like longest subsequence with distinct alphabets, something like that. Um, After that, the interview shifted to computer fundamentals. He asked me about OOPS, and basically, he asked me about OOPS because I have a project on my resume which has OOPS, which where I've used OOPS intensively. So that is it. After that, he asked me about Git. Um, I had used Git previously. He asked me some questions like, "What would you do if you committed some sensitive information in the repo? So how would you roll back? How would you amend that?" So that was like a real problem. Some like I had recently also in my work. That is something you should know. So that's what they asked in the first round. After the first round, the second round was an on-site round. So this was like the first interview I have given, which was an on-site in office interview. So it was taken by two people. One was a senior member of technical staff, and another one was the engineering manager for that team. So we started talking about the prior experience. I think prior experience is something common across all interviews that I have found. It is very important to talk about something. So if you have an internship initially, it helps because you can always talk about that internship. After the experience, we talked about DSA. There were some problems like um, there were some problems related to grids. How will we visiting the grid in printing the grid in as a spiral? And there were like not going on same cell again. Like there was follow-ups based on this question itself. They wanted me to reduce the time and memory complexity. And there were some questions about linked lists, like getting the kth node from end. So like direct questions from lead code itself. And there was a question about binary search. So it was kind of like a mix between physics and programming. They gave me some function, a variable function, and wanted to understand about like center of gravity or something. So it was directly, if you know the formula for that, it was directly a binary search problem. And there was a part of the interview where they started discussing about trade-offs. So they gave me a problem, and they said that we don't care about the time complexity. We just care about it taking like the least memory possible. So I had to, instead of designing a faster solution as we do everywhere on all the platforms and every coding platform, they asked me to make a solution which is memory efficient, only memory efficient. I don't care about. So that was something new with this interview. I so it was like they asked me to rotate an array by k elements. So the question was rotating an array by k elements. It was a good question. We had to discuss all the trade-offs. I gave them the answer which I thought was the most efficient one. After that, we moved to operating systems. So they asked me about deadlock, race conditions, types of softwares, like which softwares do we like, how are there different types of softwares like application, user software, system software, etc. So they asked about that. They asked about my internship project, like what was the architecture of our project at the company where I interned. They asked about DBMS, basic questions like file systems, how are the different DBMS, permissions, different user permissions for DBMS and all. And also, in the end, they touched my college major project, so I threw that in also. And that was the end of the second on-site interview. Uh, after like 3 4 days, I got the selection mail.
All right, man. So pretty DSA heavy entire process, right? I think I counted at least 5 6 DSA problems that you have been asked. So how was it like? Did you feel all of them were sort of standard, or few of them were like you were thrown off? How was it?
So, like most of the problems were standard, but few problems were like they wanted to throw us off. Like I told you
Hmm.
one about center of mass, and that
Yeah, yeah.
so that was entirely there to throw off. It was like just you had to just find the like the equation they gave was monotonically increasing, and then you have to figure out that it was a binary search problem. So
Hmm.
basically, it was all like direct problems, but because of it being an on-site interview, and they were trying to make it more harder, and
Hmm.
even all the candidates were also nervous at that time, so it was hard in that sense.
Understood, understood. On-site interview itself is pretty tough, you're face to face, you have to. And how, what was it, like a whiteboard, or did you actually have to code the entire thing?
Yeah, so it was in a meeting room, and it was on a whiteboard. So some problems I just had to like like make something, draw something up, and show them that this would be my approach. One problem they asked me to code on the whiteboard itself.
Hmm.
So it was both kind of like coding and visualizing both.
So like a proper whiteboard coding experience. you know right, right, all right. Okay, so the final question I want to know is, what would you deem the difficulty of the interview? Salesforce interview, what was the difficulty? Yeah.
So I would say the interview was kind of harder than a normal interview. I had given prior interviews, and I found it harder because like they were trying to twist the questions,
Hmm.
and they did not ask for the things that every other place asks. Like they asked the question to use the least memory,
Hmm.
and like I think due to it being on site, I think this was a kind of an harder interview compared to
Hmm.
interviews that I have given.
Correct, correct. Makes sense, makes sense. All right. Okay, so I guess we have covered pretty much everything about Akshat's journey, his preparation to cracking all of these amazing offers. And if anyone of you still have any doubt, I'll give his LinkedIn in the description. You guys can follow him from there and connect with him from there as well. So thanks a lot, Akshat, for taking out your time, coming on my channel, sharing these wonderful advices and your journey with me and my subscribers. I really hope this helps a lot of students. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.